All right, what is up, guys? It is Saturday, November 30th. It is currently like 8 a.m. and I just woke up, took the dog out. So today is 3 weeks out. We are 3 weeks out from the Holiday Classic in Florida, which is going to be my next show. If this is your first time hearing that, yes, I did announce it in the last video, but I know it is still new. So today we're going to be running a mock Carb Up. We hit a new low on the scale this morning, 193.6. 3 weeks out, my conditioning is in a very good spot. Almost there, not quite, but very, very close. So we're going to run a mock Carb Up and see how much food it takes me to fill out over the course of one day. And then that'll give me a gauge for what I need during peak week, as I will have multiple days to fill out. But I just want to have a baseline start point to at least go off of, so that way I'm not going in peak week blindly. Too many people do that, and then there's just so many variables to control. It's impossible to nail the peak. So start early, trial some things, see what works for you, see what doesn't, and figure it out. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to hopefully show you some of these check-in pictures when I take them here in a minute. Then I'm going to put the pictures up on the screen and go over it and show you how we're looking, how flat we are, and what I hope to see out of this Carb Up. All right, without further ado, let's get into meal number one here on the mock Carb Up. So this meal is going to be basically my normal meal one, food-wise. So all the same types of foods that I always have, minus the vegetables, as I do pull those out when I start to peak for a show. So we're gonna run that like normal today, pull all the vegetables out. The protein comes down just a tad, and the carbs and fats go way up through the roof. So this meal is going to be chicken, eggs, pineapple, and sourdough bread. The amounts are going to be way different than normal, but the food choices are the exact same, like I said. So I am going to get to cooking this, whip it up, and show y'all exactly what we're working with. All right, so here we are whipping up meal number one. The chicken is on the pan, frying up real quick. We got the eggs. We have my sourdough toast, pineapple. Everything is getting ready here. I will show y'all the final product here in a couple minutes, and then we'll dig in. Chicken is nice and crispy. Go ahead and get that out. All right, meal number one is done. So we got 2 whole eggs, 1.5 ounces of chicken breast, 200 grams sourdough bread, 100 grams of pineapple, and then we got my coffee there to top everything off. And the sauces we are going to be are a little bit of sugar-free Polynesian and no sugar added ketchup, the normal. All right, so now that that meal is done, we are going to sit down, enjoy that, enjoy the carbs, let my body soak them up, and I will catch y'all with meal number 2 of the mock peak. All right, we are back in the kitchen, which means it is time for meal number 2. So I'm going to show you what we're having. This meal is very basic. It is chicken, it is rice, it is some dates. That is going to be our fruit source for this meal. The volume is low, they're super sweet, high in carbs, so it's great for when you're putting in a lot of food and you don't want a ton of volume. And then we're also gonna put some olive oil on there for the fats. So let's whip this up and I'll show you the final product. So first off, we have in the rice cooker, I cooked up 130 grams of raw weight jasmine rice. This cooks out to, if you're curious, let's see how much cooked weight rice this is. So right at around 300 grams of cooked weight rice. And that is with me putting a little bit less water than normal. I just put like 2 grams of water per every gram of rice. So it's not a ton of volume, because that's not the goal today. The goal is more carbs, less volume, so it's still easy for me to keep my waist in check and hit the poses correctly. So we got about 300 grams of cooked weight rice here, 130 grams raw. And then for chicken, that is going to be about 3 ounces cooked. So I'm doing the shredded chicken from Long Life Meal Prep. That is a key for me when I'm peaking. It's very easy to chew. There's very little chewing. And it's very easy to digest. So the shredded chicken just makes it so much easier when you're peaking. You don't want to be chewing a whole lot and wearing yourself out. I know this sounds minuscule, and all these details are minuscule, but when you're trying to bring out the best physique, these details do matter. So 3 ounces of chicken here. You'll see it's not really a whole lot. About 3 ounces of chicken spread out. And then we have 12 grams of olive oil. So we drizzle that 12 grams of olive oil on the meal. Then we add our pink salt. And I have my salt weighed out here for the whole entire day. So I'm just evenly distributing this out onto all my meals. So right now we're doing 7 grams of salt every single day, split up between all my meals. I just evenly space it out as good as possible. It's just over a gram per meal if I was to weigh it out. But there we have it. We have 3 ounces of shredded chicken, 12 grams of olive oil on top, 130 grams of raw weight jasmine rice. We are going to heat this up, and then I'll weigh out the dates while that's heating up, and we'll eat these as sort of like a dessert. All right, so the one last thing I did want to talk to you guys about with this meal is fluid intake. So my fluids are very controlled at this point, being 3 weeks out. So I'm doing 210 ounces daily. And this is me weighing out every single thing I drink. Now, a lot of people don't get this specific into it, or they wait till the last couple of days. With me, I just like to lock this variable in. It's very easy for me to weigh out my fluids, so I just weigh them out throughout the day. Make sure I get exactly that 210 ounce mark, and it keeps me from having to guess or to have to, you know, look at the scale in the morning and be like, why did I drop an extra pound, or why did my weight go up? But if I locked in every single variable the day before, it's very less likely for me to have these huge fluctuations in weight or huge fluctuations in holding water, not holding water, when I really nail down the sodium and the water intake on a daily basis. The further out, the better. So I like to start with 3 to 4 weeks out, really nail that in and make it the same every single day. That way, come peak week, if you do need to make slight adjustments, you already have a baseline to go off of. So write that down and make sure you use it when it comes time to prep. We are going to top this meal off with my favorite sweet poppy sauce. This is a sauce that I have used in the past when I'm prepping, when I'm peaking for shows. It causes absolutely zero digestive issues. So that's why I will be using it a couple times probably throughout today, just to make sure that it's still not causing any digestive issues, which it hasn't. So it will most likely be one of the sauces I use come time to actually carb up for the show. But without further ado, let me show you this meal and then we'll dig in. All right, guys, so there we have it. Meal number 2, we have 3 ounces of chicken breast. We have 12 grams of olive oil, 20 grams of dates over there in the other bowl, 130 grams of jasmine rice, raw weight. Cooks out to about 300 grams here. And then we top that off with the sweet poppy sauce and, of course, some cinnamon and pink salt. But this is going to be meal number 2 for the Carb Up. I will sit down, eat this. We're probably going to have one very similar to this a little bit later, but I will catch y'all with meal number 3 in just a little bit. All right, we are back with meal number 3 of the mock Carb Up, if you will. We have my creamy rice. I just whipped that up here. We're doing the maple brown sugar. We did 130 grams of that. Put some cinnamon in there. We are doing, it's right at 27 grams of whey isolate. So it's 33 grams of powder, but 27 grams of whey protein from it. So we did that. I got that in my coffee, which I will show you. And then we have 100 grams of banana, which I will cut up, top it on the meal. And then, can't forget, we're gonna take my glucose disposal agent and top it off with some peanut butter, because that is the best part of the meal. So we get about 25 grams of peanut butter. So I'm in heaven today. 25 grams, that's double what I normally get. And that just tastes so good. Like something about peanut butter on prep or almond butter or whatever type of nut butter you like. On prep, nut butter just hits different. I just finished cooking that meal. In this bowl right here, we have 130 grams of creamy rice. We did the maple brown sugar flavor today from Elevate Foods. And then we got ISO H1 here in my coffee, along with 10 ounces of cold brew. And that's about 27 grams of protein from that. We have 25 grams of peanut butter on top, as well as 100 grams of banana, which I will show you here in just a second. But this is just about the same amount of carbs and fats, proteins, all that as the last meal. We just slightly moved the food choices. So we go from chicken to whey protein, and then we'll go back to chicken next meal, because these are the 2 proteins that digest well with me. And that's what I've found in the past. So those are the foods that I like to stick to when I'm carbing up, which today is essentially a mock carb up, like I said. Boom. Look at that. Top with some banana. Oh, and the cinnamon on top, obviously. We got the Smucker's All Natural peanut butter. And then the coffee with the isolate in there. This is my go-to. This is honestly my regular pre-workout meal, or maybe a pre-stage meal that I would be having. Quantities, maybe a little different. We might have some other stuff added in there if I'm peaking for a show. But on a day-to-day basis, I'm having this coffee with protein. I'm having my cream of rice. I'm having my banana, my peanut butter, in slightly different amounts. But this is the normal meal. So nothing changes today. We're just gonna have this meal. We're gonna relax, let these carbs soak in, and I'll catch y'all back with meal number 4. Right, we are back in the kitchen for meal number 4. And this one is going to be very, very similar to meal number 2 earlier, where I did the chicken, rice, and dates. This one is just going to be the chicken, same amount of rice. And then we're gonna do pineapple instead of dates. Same amount of olive oil, and then I'm going to use Polynesian sauce instead of the sweet poppy. Those are the only changes I'm making. So basically the same meal, same amounts. So the pineapple allots to the same amount of carbs, 100 grams of pineapple, 20 grams of dates. right around 15, 16 grams of carbs. So that's what we're doing here. The rice cooked out to right around 300 grams once again. So we're going to put that in the bowl here. Dino running around thinking he getting some. You're not getting any, bud. I know you can't see him, but he's down there. He knows that my meal 4 lines up with his second meal of the day. So when I'm eating, that means he's eating. Whopping 12 grams of olive oil on there. That's a good bit. Normally I do like 5 to 6 right now with my normal days, so it's about double. Then the chicken, on the other hand, we get 3 ounces, so it's about half my normal amount. So I'm kind of sad there, but I get more carbs and more fats, so that makes up for it. So it looks like that is done heating up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she's good. We will put some sugar-free Polynesian on here. Try not to go crazy on the sauces as the sweetener can add up, but I do like to have enough to get the meal down where it is still enjoyable. So there we have it. 3 ounces of chicken, 130 grams of raw weight jasmine rice, topped off with 12 grams of olive oil. We got some sugar-free Polynesian and 100 grams pineapple. And then those are my 10 ounces of fluid with the meal, as always. So with that being said, meal number 4 is going down right now. I'm gonna eat this and I'll catch you back for meal number 5, which is gonna be the last meal of the mock Carb Up. All right, it is about 9 p.m. here, so it is time for me to get my 5th and final meal in for the night. I typically like to have that around 9:30. That way I'm in the bed before 10 p.m. and that gives me plenty of time to, get a full night's rest and wake up early in the morning and do it all over again. So first things first, I have my nighttime supplements here that I take with the remainder of today's fluids. So every night I take these supplements. We got our fish oil, our turmeric, our kidney sups, we got our magnesium, K2, D3. What else? We got NAC, potassium, B12, betaine. We have one other. Well, I have a cortisol supplement in here as well that I started taking from Revive. And then I'll also have the Revive dark chocolate sleep with my last meal here. I'll show you that when I whip it up though. But I do take these as I get this meal ready every night without fail. All right, so getting into what the meal is actually going to be, it's going to be very similar to the creamy rice meal that we had earlier today. We're just going to be having some different flavors. So we're going to do the chocolate cake, creamy rice, add the peanut butter, and then we're going to do the isolate from Core Nutritionals this time. This is chocolate peanut butter cup. And we're going to do the same amount, so 27 grams worth of protein. And this powder, it is 35 grams of powder itself to get that 27 grams of protein. So that's what we're going to do there. I'm going to make that into my normal whey drip and drizzle that over top of the creamy rice. And then I'll show you all that once I get it all made here. So one change I am making to this meal, I'm doing 20 grams of raisins instead of, I did dates earlier, and it was my first time ever actually eating dates, so it was kind of a trial run, see if I like them and see if my body likes them. It wasn't bad. It definitely wasn't my favorite. So I'm gonna do raisins with this meal, see if I like those better, and I might stick with those when it comes to peak week. But the macros are very similar, so it's basically just swap them out. And so 20 grams for 20 grams. It was within the same number of carbs, so it was like 15.2 versus 15.5 or something like that. So basically the same So we're gonna do that for this meal, and I'll show you that once it's all finished. I've been letting this cool off here. You can probably still see the steam, it's still a little hot, but I've been letting that cool off while I've had my whey drip cooling in the freezer, making it a little bit thicker, and I'm gonna top that cold whey drip on top of the steaming hot cream of rice, and it's like a little hot cold combo, and I really enjoy it. So let me show you all that once it's finished. So there it is, along with all the ingredients there. We have the raw sleep, that is what's in the Starbucks cup, and then the meal here, as you can see, the creamy rice topped with peanut butter, raisins, and the whey drip. And that is gonna do it for the meal, guys. So that is meal number 5 and the final meal of today's Carb Up. So tomorrow I will wake up, take pictures, assess them, see how the Carb Up went, see if it was enough food, see if it was, you know, enough to get us started, or if that didn't touch it, or, you know, at least it gives me a gauge of what I'm going to need. So I will keep y'all posted in the coming videos. Stay tuned with my Instagram to see how I'm looking. I might post some updates on there. But it is late. I am hungry. I am tired. So I am going to end the video here. I don't think I told you the macros, but the macros on the entire day are 200 grams of protein, 600 grams of carbs, and 90 grams of fat. So that is higher fats, higher carbs by significantly larger amounts. And then we slightly lowered the protein from 300 to 200 grams just to give my digestion a chance to soak up all these carbs and fats and utilize them properly. So that is what we're gonna do. Keep the waist tight. I'm gonna eat this and chill out, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you'll want to see in the next video. Until then, we are 3 weeks out. Peace.